right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Oh, evening. Lord, I don't even know what day it is. Hey, people. Hey, people. How are you doing? Give y'all a few moments to come on in the room. Hey, everybody. Hey, Instagram. Your girl did it. She finally is going live again when I actually need to go live. Hey, Facebook. Hey, Trey Beautiful, how are you? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. So, hey, everybody. It is Dawn Gatling here. I am the founder of A New Dawn Soul Therapy, and I am your soul therapist. Welcome, welcome, welcome to yet another edition of Soul Therapy Thursday. Okay, so hey, Instagram. I have been trying to get live with y'all for a minute, and I have been having some issues. However, I was successful in uploading our last two Thursdays, and so check them out there when you get a chance. I am doing wonderful. Trey, thank you for asking. It's been a long day, but a great day. I've been in a training, and it's just fabulous. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's get to it. Today we're talking about imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome, we the topic came up during last week's live. So hey Mara, hey beautiful. We've been together all day. I wish I could see you in person. I really, really do. But we will. We'll make it happen. So glad you're here. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm so glad that I actually made it on Instagram Live. So I'm really, really excited about that. So imposter syndrome came up last week during our Soul Therapy Thursday. Now I can jump on here and talk about whatever I want to talk about, whenever I want to talk about it. I got plenty of things to talk about, but I really like to hear from you guys. What do you want me to talk about? What are things that are on your heart and soul? What do you need to hear? What do you need to understand more? Where do you need support and encouragement? So no, you don't have to wait until Soul Therapy Thursday to ask me any questions or to shoot me your ideas. You can do that at any point in time. But this is our community, not just my community. So I just want to make sure that I do that. So I'm excited that one of our sisters in our Soul Therapy group, our Soul Therapy Circle group on Facebook, brought up imposter syndrome. And I was just like, yeah, we can talk about that. And sis Mara, I believe that you talked about this recently. So, I know you will have some valuable input. So let's see, where to start. So imposter syndrome is a term that we hear a lot of now, especially within the mental health community. So the mental health community talks about imposter syndrome because it affects us. It affects us a lot. And I don't have any like dictionary.com necessarily definitions. So I'll break it down kind of in layman's terms, what my understanding of what the mental health community means by imposter syndrome. And then we're going to follow it up with a couple of other definitions of imposter syndrome that I believe apply very well. Oh, and before I keep going, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Your girl got some hair this week. She got some hair this week. She went to the store. She got some hair this week. I'm letting my hair grow back out. So we'll see how long that lasts. Hair. We could talk about hair probably for hours, but I won't because that's not the purpose of Soul Therapy Thursdays. Um, or maybe we have to talk about that one of these weeks. So, imposter syndrome in the mental health definition of it. So I'm just gonna let me try to explain it according to my understanding. So imposter syndrome is when you feel basically like you're an imposter. You feel that you don't know enough, you're not smart enough, you're not worthy enough. It's a lot of enoughs, and it, but you do. Okay, so you feel like a fake because it really is related to our self-esteem, our self-worth, and our self-value. And so, in a nutshell, that basically is what the mental health community means when we're talking about imposter syndrome. Now, I know that I suffered from it for longer than I care to admit to. Let me make sure I'm getting these comments here. Nope, I'm sure not. Girl, I don't know what's going on. Oh, I'm cute. Thank you. um, so I've suffered from imposter syndrome for longer than I care to admit. Um, and so I'll just tell you a little bit about myself and how this relates to imposter syndrome. So I have done many things in addition to helping people heal for over 25 years. And as if that's not enough to give me a smidgen of credibility in doing the work that I do, I have held various positions. I've had, some of you may remember, I've had so many jobs because I was searching for my purpose. Even though I knew it for a long time, I wasn't really searching. I think I was running from it because it was just something that I didn't understand. I knew no one that did not work a traditional 9 to 5. And so being called out to do this work and not work a traditional 9 to 5 was terrifying, but I'll save that for another show for the most part. So in addition to the 25 years of helping people heal, I've held positions. I have been a sexual abuse specialist. I have been a chief operating officer of a major mental and behavioral health agency. I have been a sociology professor and a psychology professor. I created a human trafficking restoration program from scratch by myself. um, I've done all these things. I also have my bachelor's degree in human development, my master's degree in community psychology. Now, I used to think that I had to run all of these things down anytime I talked to someone because I had to prove myself. Mm, I had to prove myself all the time. And even though I had all of these experiences professionally and personally, I still felt like I was an imposter. I felt somewhere that like I was faking, I wasn't enough. And honestly, it's really only been recently that I've come into my own, that I just said, girl, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Knock it off. You have nothing to prove. Some of y'all need to hear that. You have nothing to prove. One of my mentors, that she may not know that she's my mentor, but her name is Lisa Nichols. Look her up, follow her. She's very inspirational in business and personal development. And she would say, and I remember when she said this and it hit me like a ton of bricks, you don't have anything to prove, defend, hide, or protect. Prove, defend, hide, or protect. And I spent my entire life doing that. And I'm done. And y'all should be too. Okay. So imposter syndrome is basically that. So I just ran down like half of my resume to you. Some people like are taken aback when they hear that because I don't, I stopped going around saying it, because who wants to hear that all the time? I don't really, what are you really about? So I chose to allow my light and my soul to shine through over my human accomplishments. But still, that was enough to say, it should have been enough to say for me, girl, you know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. Yes, Mara, I am enough. Yes, Trey, we have nothing to prove. Nothing to prove. And now, if anybody tries to roll up on me, trying to tell me I'm not enough, or trying to get me to prove something to them, I halt it right there. We really don't need to have any interactions if I'm feeling like that. So the imposter syndrome makes you feel like you're not enough. Imposter syndrome makes you feel that no matter what you do, it doesn't stamp you as credible. And in a world that tries to make you feel like you're not credible, for me, I come from the mental health background. I've been a therapist, but I'm not a licensed clinician. I've never been a licensed clinician. And, it's getting to the point where people were just coming for me, because you're not licensed. You're not allowed to do this. You can't say that. What do you know? Blah, 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 blah. And it just was inaccurate. But I took that because that was already how I felt about myself. See how that works? Something was already there. So the reason why the things that people would say would hurt me is because I already felt that way about myself. It can't hurt you if you don't already feel that way. It doesn't have anything to connect to, you know? So, yeah, the imposter syndrome. That's essentially what it is. Do any of you suffer from imposter syndrome? Let me know in the comments. If you catch this on a replay, hashtag replay, and let me know, do you suffer or have you suffered from imposter syndrome? So that is what I like to call the mental health community's definition of imposter syndrome. And I do see how it is very relevant because you have great people doing great work that still feel very unwell about themselves and they feel like they're fakers, you know. So now I want to talk a little bit about what else imposter syndrome can mean. One of our soulsters in the community, yes, I just gave y'all a nickname. I just gave y'all a cute little nickname because I really care about y'all. So I'm like, I don't want to keep calling people clients, and I do teach. I have courses, online courses, so I don't want to necessarily call people students. And I'm really serious about building this community. So soulsters, soul sisters. Yeah, I know. She thinks she's clever. All right, Trey says we have to get to the cure of the problem. We can't heal if we don't talk about what's bothering us. You better say, I need you to get a sign and I need you to just run around with that sign. Yes. Yes, my soulster. Yes. We can't heal if we don't talk about it. And including talking about if you feel like a fake, if you feel like an imposter. We have to talk about these things. I shared some memes in the group earlier this week because I knew that we were going to be talking about this and I wanted to trigger some of our um, thoughts around imposter syndrome. And there were a couple of them. One was, it was a cartoon one, and then up above, it was just all of these compliments, all of these positive things people were saying about her. I mean, tons of positive things. And then on the bottom, it said, um, one negative thing. And she took that one negative thing and held on to that over the positive things. So that just kind of goes to show us how deep the imposter syndrome can go for us. And, that we are hardwired, not kind of, as humans to navigate towards the negative. And so we have to put work and intentionality behind navigating more towards the positive things. And even when you don't have anybody saying anything positive to you or about you, you got to do it and say it for and to yourself. It's so important. It's so important. It's a lesson I wish I would have got. Man, I'm about to be 48 years old. It is a message I wish I would have gotten when I was 18. When I was 8, 18, 28, 38. I wish I would have gotten it, but I'm just now getting it. So yeah, speak well about yourself. So that was the one meme. Okay, now we're drawn towards the one negative instead of the hundreds of positives. And then another meme, it was cute. It was a bunch of ducks, and then there was a dog, and the dog had like a little white beak looking thing. I think it was one of those, I don't know what the sport is called, but it's kind of like tennis, but it has this plastic thing. So anyway, he has it on his beak. And he's like, nobody will ever know. So he's a dog among ducks trying to look like ducks, right? That meme is a little bit more applicable to what I'm about to talk about when it comes to imposter syndrome. And then there was one more that it was a little tiny. So this is how much I think I know. This is how much I think I know right here, this tiny little circle, and how much I think other people know. This big, massive fear, right? But in reality, it is how much I know and how much other people know, right? Because we don't want to go to the other side of this thing thinking we know everything. There needs to be a term for, narcissist. there's a couple of different terms for that. So we don't want to go to the other side of the coin thinking that we know everything, thinking that we have nothing else to learn, thinking that we're perfect and all of that jazz. Okay, so we do definitely need a balance. So those were just some of the memes that I shared earlier about imposter syndrome. So now I want to talk about, now that we talked about what the mental health community deems imposter syndrome is, we get that. Some of us suffer from that. Many of you probably in my group and in our community suffer from that. So we want to make sure we work through that. But I also want to talk about how else imposter syndrome can be looked at. Okay, I want to talk about that. This was inspired by one of our other soulsters, Dana, in our soul therapy circle community. She said she wants to know, she had a couple questions. She wants to know, who is the imposter? How can I tell? And is it me or them? Such great questions. So, not everybody understands the mental health community buzzword imposter syndrome that's going around. And you can actually tell that if you do a search for memes, you can tell that people kind of mean different things by it, and that's okay. But just if we're engaged in a conversation about it, we should understand, find a common ground for where we are. So, so who is the who is the imposter? And I don't think Dana is on with us tonight. But Dana, if you come on, if you catch this on the replay, go on ahead and throw it in the comments. But I think that you're thinking, who's the imposter in terms of dealing with fake people, right? Fake people, people who pretend to be one thing, but they're really another thing. I think that that's a very good definition of imposter syndrome. Our world seems to be flooded with imposters, people who try to show themselves to be one thing, but they're not. No, we're not even going to talk about politics or anything. Y'all should know I don't do that. I can't. I got to protect my energy, so I don't do that. But just by virtue of me saying that, you probably get to where I'm going. But when people just try to act like they're something and they're really not, I think that that fits well within a different yet related definition of imposter syndrome. And so, how can we tell if someone is being inauthentic? Really, that's what that's called. Someone is being inauthentic. They're not being themselves. They're trying to. They're fakers. They're mother fakers. I don't know if any of y'all ever watched the movie The Ringer, but they're mother fakers. That's it. That's who they are. And how can we tell? Well, one of my answers to that question is to always follow your gut, follow your soul, follow your intuition, follow your spirit, whatever it is for you, that inkling, your discernment. Use all of that because we know, but it's the things that we deal with internally that cause us to fall for the okey doke when it comes to other people being imposters. So honor that. And if your knower, your discerner, your spirit, if it's off and you struggle with that, that's exactly why I'm here, because I can teach you how to connect to your soul so that you don't have to be taken advantage of, or you don't have to be manipulated by people that are faking the funk. I hope that makes sense. And is it me or is it them? The answer is it probably is a little bit of both. It could be a little bit of both. Some of you have heard parts and bits of my story if you've been hanging out with me for a while. I have a background of I felt like an imposter, and I've been an imposter. I have been what I thought other people needed me to be. I have been what I thought other people saw me to be. Hey, my soulster, I'm glad you're here. I know you'll go back and watch this so you know what the heck is she talking about. She said soulster. My soul sister. I'm glad you're here. Um, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I was being what I thought other people needed me. And I did that in an effort so that I wouldn't get hurt, that I wouldn't be rejected again, that I wouldn't be hated on again, you know. And so I would be an imposter and I'd match their impostership, matching energy, you know. And so I get that's my answer to that question. Is it me or is it them? And most of the time it can be both. So check on my comments here. Yeah. What do y'all think about the imposter syndrome? Makes sense? No? Maybe? We covered the mental health community's perspective on imposter syndrome being stemming from not being good enough. You have all of these accomplishments, achievements, training, whatever it is. You know what you're doing, or you know who you are, but yet you feel like you're a fake for so many reasons. That if you suffer from imposter syndrome, and that according to that definition, you need some soul work. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know anyone who does not need soul work. Not a single soul doesn't need soul work. So it's not a dig, but that is an indicator. Your body, your mind, your soul is telling you that something is off, and we can fix it. And guess what? You can. Nothing outside of you is going to be able to fix anything on the inside of you, because you've already been equipped with everything that you need. Your soul holds all of the answers. So that's why I'm here. I can help you that. I can help you through that. Identifying your own soul, discovering your soul, connecting to your soul, creating the blueprint to live your very best life. So that's the mental health part of it. Then, if you tend to be someone who attracts imposters, if you're attracting these people, that's kind of another indicator. You got to ask yourself, well, why are you dealing with this? Why do I attract? And remember, I was saying that it's probably a little bit of both. They're faking the funk, and you're being an imposter in an effort to maybe gain their acceptance, get their approval, avoid rejection, all of that. So it's a little bit of both. And so we can do that too. That's what I do. So that's about all I have for imposter syndrome. I think it's a great topic. And I'll be honest, I've heard it flying around for a long time now, but I never really researched it because I kind of thought I understood what it was. But for me, it would be more of the second definition until I started researching it, because one of our beautiful soulsters brought it up last week. And I'm like, wow, that's what the mental health community means by imposter syndrome. And I recognized it within myself. Feeding off the energy. Trey says, feeding off the energy. Some people don't like being alone. Yeah, some people don't like being alone. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that either, because we weren't created to be alone. And I'm not talking just about romantic relationships and partnerships. I'm talking about all relationships, friends, community. That's why we gather here. There's a reason y'all are here. You come here. We're building community here, So yeah, but when you don't want to be alone, and you settle, you know, and you take crap from people, or you accept the impostership from other people, then yeah, we need to look at that. We need to look at that. So I hope that some of this was helpful. I hope that it sparks maybe you doing some of your own research about imposter syndrome and how it may or may not be affecting your life. And, again, the second part of that, my made up imposter syndrome about attracting other people that are fakers and imposters to try to use you or get next to you or gain your approval, avoid your rejection, whatever that may be. I think that we suffer as much from that as we do from not feeling good enough about ourselves, not believing in our own merits, in our own achievements, our own calling, our own gifts, all of that. And yes, self-reflection is very, very, very necessary. So before I go real quick, I want to remind y'all about In case you didn't hear yet, I'm having next week, starting on Monday, I'm doing a series. I call it Healing 101, Demystifying the Healing Process. It's a series that I did earlier this year, and I think it was right around the time COVID hit. It was probably the same week or the week after. It was earlier this year, and it was great. And it came back up in my heart to do it again. And so we need to do it again. So it's Healing 101. It's free. There's no cost. You just got to be a member of this group. Instagram, you need to be a member of the group, our Soul Therapy Circle group on Facebook. The link is in my bio above. All you got to do is make a couple clicks and you'll go right there. You don't even have to cut and paste, copy and paste. Yeah, cut and paste. You don't even have to do that. So I invite y'all to come and hang out with me and come find out a little bit about the healing process, why we need it, barriers to healing. I teach you guys about things like the tug of war, the role of the ego in the healing process. Because one of the main things that I get from people and why they don't heal, y'all have been doing this work for so long, and it just has baffled me. I'm like, I know people need this. Why aren't people doing it? There's so many reasons. Some people are afraid. I'm not going to try to do the thing right now, but people are afraid of the healing process because they don't know what to expect. But the number one thing I get is I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know where to start, and I don't know how to heal. Like it just seems like it's so like it's climbing Mount Everest. It seems like it's just so impossible. So it's important to start for us to start to talk about it so we can break it down in manageable chunks. So it doesn't feel like this whole painful, awful ordeal that, you'll have to go through. So I hope you guys can join me for that. Again, or join me for that. There is an event on the page, and I'm going to keep posting and posting about it. And all you got to do is show up here because I'm just going to do it in a group. I'm not even doing a separate group because that's how much I want the information to get out there. So do me a favor. I know y'all got girlfriends. I know y'all got friends. I need you to invite them to our group. Don't keep the community a secret. Don't be stingy and keep it all to yourself now. Share it. Invite people. That's how we're going to heal. We do it together, together. Okay. So again, Healing 101 on Monday. And the Monday is November 2nd. And we'll be here for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll be uploading pre-recorded videos, and I'll upload them the evening before. So Sunday night, I will be sharing the first video so that you have time to watch it through the evening or early in the morning. And then starting on Monday and every day through Wednesday, I'll be in the group live at 12 noon to talk about it more, to answer any questions, to go a little bit more in depth, because I do have some more information to share that isn't in the pre-recorded videos. I also have a workbook. I didn't have the workbook last time. It wasn't last time. I just did the video series, but we are going to have the workbook next time. And so just let me know. I'll need your email for that, and I'll send it right out to you. I'll make sure you get it Sunday night. Notebook, the workbook is nice. It outlines what we're covering. You can take notes, and it's just a great thing to have. So let me know if you guys want that. Let me see what else we're gonna do. I think that's about it. I'm excited. I love this group. Thank you, my soulster, and we love you back. Thank you for being here. Invite some of your friends. Now, listen, what I don't want, when I say that, I'm not interested in just numbers. We only have like 200 and I think it's like 240 people in our circle group here. And on Instagram, I think I have like 400 or something followers. So y'all know that's not huge. It's not because a lot of people they don't interact, they're just not here. They just have joined for different reasons. So I'm not a numbers chaser. I don't really care about the numbers. I care about the souls. I care about people getting here who need it. That's what I care about. Okay, so if don't invite your girl who's straight tripping and she doesn't want to hear nothing good that you have to say ever. I mean, you can, but maybe she can learn a thing or two. So it's not about the numbers. It's about sharing the information so that we can continue to heal together. Yes, ma'am, my sister. I'll get you the workbook, and I believe I have your email address. Yes, I have yours. So I will make sure that I send it to you. Let me write it down real quick. Gotcha. I'll make sure I send you that. Okay. Well, y'all know me. I will digress and I will just keep on talking and talking and talking. I have enjoyed my time with you guys. You know, give the imposter syndrome on both sides that we talked about this evening. Give it some thought. Give it some thought. And I'll be here. If you need anything, drop it in the comments. Send me a message if you're an extremely private person. If you have any questions, and I will do my best to answer them. All right. Love y'all so much. Have a great and fabulous weekend. And those of you who are joining me on Monday for Healing 101, I'll see you then. Until then, bye.